What are simple substances? So there's a vocabulary word at the top of our screen, right? And it says element, a simple substance that cannot be broken down into simpler substances. So here's what they're saying. Hydrogen, helium, carbon, and sodium. These are things that cannot be broken down into other parts. They are what they are. So if you think of like your desk at school, right? When you're in traditional schooling, last year, your desk is made of partly wood and metal, right? And different things. And so this is what we're saying is hydrogen is just hydrogen. You can't break it down and make it into something else. If you ever heard the phrase when they say water is made from H2O, right? So water is made of two different things together, oxygen and hydrogen together, right? They come together to make water. So if you break apart water, it comes into two different things that come together. So some of these substances, like hydrogen, like helium, like carbon, like sodium, you can't break them down, right? They're the simplest way they can possibly be. So the elements. Some substances can be broken down into other substances. Water can be broken down into hydrogen and oxygen. Sugar can be broken down into carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Salt can be broken down into sodium and chlorine. Hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, sodium, and chlorine cannot be broken down. These substances are called elements. Elements are substances that cannot be broken down into anything else. Right? They're as simple as they're going to be. You can't break them down. Notice here on this page, it says what is an element. So right here is what you're going to tell me what elements are and type it in the box. Last sentence tells you what elements are. All substances are made of elements. There are over 100 elements that we know of. Each substance on Earth is made of one or more of these elements. Elements are simple substances. They are the building blocks of all other substances. Here, look at this question here. What are substances made of? So they tell us here, all substances are made of elements. Look at our first sentence here, our topic sentence. Okay, so they're basically saying these elements, as we listed some on the previous page, there's over 100 of them on this periodic table that we'll learn more about in the next few weeks. And so every single thing on Earth is made of one or more elements together. Elements can be solids, liquids, or gases. Most elements are solids at ordinary temperatures, means regular temperatures. Some elements are gases, and a few elements are liquids. We learned about that before, solids, liquids, and gases, right? So here's our next question. In what phase of matter are most elements found? Here we go. Most elements are solids at ordinary temperatures. So you should be putting the answer of solids in your paragraph. Some substances are composed of only one element. An iron nail contains only the element iron. Aluminum foil is composed of only the element aluminum. The lead in the pencil you write with is not really lead at all. It is graphite. Graphite is composed of the element carbon. Okay, so sometimes we bring one or more of these elements together to make something else. So, question in the orange. What are some things that are composed of only one element? It lists two here, right? The iron nail is only made up of one element, or aluminum. So you can pick one here. I'm only requiring one answer to be placed in the box. Some substances contain more than one element. Water is composed of the two elements of hydrogen and oxygen, like I mentioned before. Sugar contains carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Brass is a mixture of the elements copper and zinc. Mercury oxide contains the elements mercury and oxygen. So notice that some of those things sound very similar, right? Mercury oxide is made from mercury and oxygen, so two of them together. Sometimes the name really tells us what it's made of. It is not hard to break mercury oxide into two elements. Heat some mercury oxide in a test tube. At first it turns black. If you keep heating it, it drops if you keep heating it, drops of silver-colored liquid form on the inside of the test tube. The liquid is the element mercury. If you then put a glowing wooden splint into the test tube, the splint would burst into flame. This shows that the test tube only contains invisible gas oxygen. Oxygen can make a glowing wood splint burst into flame. We're going to watch a video of that same thing later this week. So what elements should be two is mercury oxide made of? And please use the first paragraph in your packet to do that, okay? To come up with that answer. Last sentence. So on this page here, it's asking you to answer some questions, right? There's 4 questions here. It says, which of the following substances are elements? A lot of them we listed on each page, right? So what you're going to do is tap in the red circle and then drag it, right? So which of these are elements? Put the circle on top of the word. Click it again and drag it to the following answer. I am giving you some answers right now. So take a look, and that's what you're looking for, okay? You're going to drag them on top of the actual element's name. Here it says the number of known elements. How many elements are there? Put it in the text box there. Number 3, an element that is a silver-colored liquid. That's the one we just read about on this last page here, right? Starts with an M. Put the letter answer in here. And number 4, an element that is an invisible gas. Come up with that one, and then you're going to put that here. Okay, put the letter. Is it A, B, C, or D? Put the letter on the line. Okay, so if you have any questions, please let me know. Of course, I'll be in class as well, and you can listen to this as we move along.